All right, I'm Congressman Tim Ryan here with my buddy Charlamagne. This is Atman and Ali and Eddie. Atman and Ali are with the Holistic Life Foundation, and they're going to teach Char and me different breathing techniques. So Char and I met on his show and became fast friends around issues around mental health, social and emotional learning,
Yep.
healthy food, and making sure that these approaches make their way into communities of color and into our schools. And Ali and Atman have been doing this for years in Baltimore. And Eddie is yoga teacher to the stars and an old dear friend who's also been working on yoga and meditation in schools, really using this as a transformational approach to heal our kids, heal trauma. So that's what this is all about. And we're anxious to just get started
And you're in the midst of your presidential campaign right now.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why do you think you're the only presidential candidate out here talking about the need to be mentally healthy?
No idea. It's the issue in Ohio. We have opiate addiction. We have job loss, a lot of adverse childhood experiences. So it came from experience being a congressman in the area. And then as I traveled, it's happening everywhere.
So this is something that you do on the regular anyway.
Not enough.
That's why we're getting one in right now.
We're going to get in right now. Breathing, meditation. This is great. So let's roll, fellas.
All
Who's
right.
up?
Yeah, we can jump into our first practice. The kids call it the stress breath that we teach. It's a variation of Ujjayi breath. What it's good for, if you have like a lot of thoughts going through your mind and you can't find yourself to be present, this is a good practice to kind of like push the reset button and lead you back to that present moment. Also, this breath has to be audible. Communities faced with a lot of trauma, it kind of plays out in their body. And a lot of kids, like if they're walking down a hallway and you might see them just punch another kid in the mouth and you ask them why they did that, they might say, I don't know why I did it. And that's kind of because the vagus nerve isn't active. The audibleness of this breath actually activates that vagus nerve in this practice. The way you make the breath audible, you know how you fog up a window or a mirror, like, if you all can do that, that would be cool.
All right.
All right, and then do that same thing, but close your lips and try to make that same audible noise. So that's gonna do the same thing on the inhale.
So what's the biggest nerve, though?
The vagus nerve is that connection from your mind to your body. A lot of the kids that go through trauma, that connection isn't there.
It's a real nerve?
It's a real nerve. And
Okay.
this practice making it audible kind of activates that nerve and kind of deals with that the effects of the trauma that these kids are facing in the communities that Ali and I work in.
Does trauma deactivate that nerve?
Trauma does deactivate that nerve, and what this audible breath does is it reactivates it, and it kind of directly deals with that trauma that these kids are facing over the years, which make them detached from their body. So it establishes that connection back with their mind and their body.
Gotcha.
Another benefit of this practice, a lot of our kids don't have heat in their house. This practice will actually boost up your body temperature as well. So with people that we try to teach, we try to make it as practical as possible for them, so they will adapt it in their lives. So once again, the way we do the breath, we inhale deep through our nose and making that breath audible. I'll show you all once. Then you hold on to that breath and lock your chin to your chest. And then we hold it down there for a couple seconds. And then we exhale with that audible breath, bringing our head back up. Sounds perfect. All right. We're going to do a couple of these together. And I invite you all to close your eyes. All the breathing is going to be done in and out through our nose. So everyone inhale long, slow, and deep and audibly. Filling your stomach up with air. Hold on to that breath and lock your chin to your chest. And we're going to hold it down there just for a couple seconds. And then we can exhale and bring our head up, making that breath audible. Squeeze our stomach in, push all that air out. Inhale deep again with that long, slow, deep, audible breath. Filling your stomach up with air. Hold and lock your chin to your chest. And once again, we're just going to hold it down for a couple seconds. And then we exhale and bring our head up. Remember, making that breath audible. Y'all breathing is sounding great. Inhale deep again. Remember, long, slow, deep, audible breath. Filling your stomach up with air. And hold and lock your chin to your chest. Exhale, bring your head up, squeeze your stomach in, push all that air out. Remember all the breathing in and out through our nose. Inhale deep again. Remember long, slow, deep, audible breath. Hold and lock your chin to your chest. And then exhale, bring your head up, squeeze your stomach in, push all that air out. Inhale deep again. Remember long, slow, deep, audible breath. Hold and lock your chin to your chest. Y'all breathing the sound of great. Keep it up. Exhale and bring your head up. Squeeze your stomach in. Push all that air out. We're going to do a couple more. Inhale deep. Remember long, slow, deep, audible breath. Hold and lock your chin to your chest. Once again, we're going to hold it down there for a couple seconds. And then exhale. Bring your head up. 2 more. Inhale, long, slow, deep breath. Hold and lock your chin to your chest. Exhale, bring your head up again. This is the last one. Inhale as long and as slow and as deep as you can, making that breath audible, filling your stomach up with air. Hold on to that breath and lock your chin to your chest. And since this is the last one, you can hold it down there for as long as you individually can. But as soon as you feel any discomfort, you can exhale and bring your head up, but try to push yourself. And whenever you do exhale and bring your head up, if your eyes are closed, keep them closed and take 3 deep breaths on your own to feel how your mind feels and feel how your body feels. Pay attention to your body temperature. It may have gone up. And just remember, this practice is really good if you have a lot of thoughts going through your mind and you find yourself not being present. This will lead you back to being present, or if you have to give a speech or any type of performance, it's really good to kind of, once again, slowing down the thoughts in your mind and bringing you back to that present moment. And then after you've done those 3 deep breaths doing that internal assessment, you can slowly blink your eyes open and come back to your senses.
I don't want to open my eyes.
I feel like you got to do these before a debate.
Can I
Definitely.
stay here forever? I did. The first debate I did, and the second one, like periodically throughout the day, like a half hour at a time,
Really? Just to mentally prepare.
just to calm down.
How much damage does a presidential campaign do to your mental health, you think?
It's not good.
Really?
I mean, you're up early, you're not getting sleep. You know, like we got to sleep in at like till 8 today. I was like, I feel so good today,
Or
just because I got a really good night's sleep. And we were at a decent hotel. It wasn't a Holiday Inn Express in the middle of the city.
gotcha.
But it was great. You can feel the difference, huh?
I do. I mean, the immediate thing I felt was presence.
Mm-hmm.
Like being in this moment, you know? And when I was doing the breathing, I wasn't thinking about anything else except for the breathing. Like my thoughts weren't racing at all, which is unheard of for me.
You meditate? Sure.
Not I don't know if I do it officially. Like, you know, I try to take time for myself early in the morning and I just try to be still, eyes closed. I do a couple of the breathing exercises that I don't know if I would call that necessarily meditation.
Mm-hmm.
To me, I think it is, but not like I should
Right.
for long periods of time.
Yeah.
You do it often?
Yeah, I try to do it every day.
Really?
Yeah.
What's your routine? Is it something like this?
Something like this. Do a few minutes of breathing and drop in, and then follow your breath. Then your mind goes off. You bring it back. Mind goes. We'll do it. You
Yeah, I'll do breath meditation.
Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
So this practice is a breath meditation. So it's just a
And
way
then
to
give us a couple minutes after that we could just like
Oh yeah,
chill
because
after.
you don't have to be able to jump back into talking. Your lips gonna be somewhere else, and you have to get back in tune with your body. So it's pretty much a way to go deeper with your breath. Like you were saying, most people's minds are wandering and all over the place most of the day, and the breath is a way to kind of center yourself. And a lot of people use it to get it from sympathetic to parasympathetic dominance, to get out of that stress mode to relaxed state.
Tell us what that means.
Your autonomic nervous system is what has like your body's response system to things that happen around you and within you. So sympathetic dominance is the stress state where your breath gets really short. The blood goes from the outside to your internal organs. Adrenaline starts flowing, cortisol starts flowing. So all these things start happening in your body automatically, like if you were getting chased down the street by a pit or something. You know what I mean? Like all these things happen. And then parasympathetic dominance is the relaxed state. Your breath is a lot slower, it's a lot deeper. The cortisol, the adrenaline shut off, but a lot of people can't get from sympathetic to parasympathetic dominance. So they're in that stress state all the time, and it's literally killing them.
Yeah, the cortisol can kill you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So all these things are going on. So a lot of these practices are to get you back to parasympathetic dominance so you can actively go from one to the other.
All right.
All right. So breath meditation, you all can get in a nice, comfortable meditative posture. Whatever that is for you, welcome you to close your eyes. I'm going to start by taking a couple deep breaths together. So everyone inhale nice and deeply. And exhale that breath all the way out. Inhale again deeply. Exhale that breath out. We'll do one more together. Inhale nice and deep. And exhale it out. Now go ahead and relax your breath. Just let it go to a nice comfortable pace. Let the air flow naturally in and out of your body at an effortless rate. Just let your body naturally breathe. First thing you're going to do is you're going to bring your awareness to how your breath feels. How it feels going in and out through your nose, and the feeling of the rising and falling of your belly with each breath. Any physical sensations you might be feeling right now, whether it's your connection to the meditation cushion, texture of your clothes against your body, temperature of the room. Acknowledge all those sensations and just let them drift away, and hold your awareness on the feeling of the breath. Feel it going in and out through your nose. Feel the rising and falling of your belly with each breath. If you get distracted by a physical sensation, just acknowledge it, let it drift away, and bring your sense of feel back to the breath. Feel it going out through your nose, and feel the rising and falling of your belly with each breath. Remember, distractions are going to arise. So any physical distraction that might pull your sense of feel away from the breath, just quickly acknowledge what it is and bring your awareness back to feeling the breath. Feel it going in and out through your nose, and feel the rising and falling of your belly. Now, along with feeling the breath, we're also going to pay attention to how that breath sounds. No matter how soft or loud it is, pay attention to the sound of every inhale and every exhale. If you get distracted by a sound in the room, just acknowledge it. Don't let it carry your mind off too far. Acknowledge it and come back to the sound of the breath. So all of your awareness is going to be on feeling and hearing the breath. Feel it going in and out through your nose. Feel the rising and falling of your belly. And pay attention to the sound of every inhale and every exhale. If you get distracted by a sound or a feeling, acknowledge what it is, let it drift away, and come back to the feeling and the sound of the breath. Remember, you're going to feel it going in and out through your nose, feel the rising and falling of your belly, and pay attention to the sound of every inhale and every exhale. Hold your awareness right there. Remember, distractions are going to pop up. Don't get frustrated with them. Just acknowledge them. Let them drift away. And come back to the feeling and the sound of the breath. So last thing we're going to do is we're also going to center our minds on the breath. Thoughts start to pop into your head. Don't try to fight with your mind and block them out. Don't get frustrated. Just see each thought without ownership or judgment. Just see it as a thought. Acknowledge that thought. Let it drift away. And bring your mind to the breath. Every time a thought pops up, just acknowledge it. Let it go. Come back to the breath. All of your awareness is going to be on feeling, hearing, and centering your mind on the breath. Every single distraction, whether it's an internal distraction or an external distraction, acknowledge it, let it go, and come back to the breath. Just be one with your breath. We're going to slowly bring our awareness away from our breath and back to our bodies, very slowly and gradually. Start by very lightly wiggling your fingers and toes. Roll your wrists and roll your ankles a little bit. Move your head a little bit from side to side. And then take your time with it, but whenever you're ready, you can slowly blink your eyes open, but take your time.
Hey, why we all had to stretch our legs after that one?
All right?
Wow. Is that the proper position, the yogi position, is always to have your legs crossed when you're doing your breathing?
I think as long as your back and your head are aligned, it's up to you.
All right.
I know, I like to meditate seated. Our other business partner, brother Andy, he likes to meditate laying down, and Atman likes walking meditation.
Wow.
So I mean, it's however you like your practice, because it's your practice. It's not nobody else's. So whatever's comfortable for you is what you got to roll with.
Gotcha.
They need like massages at the retreats. Like you do this for like 5 days straight.
Man.
Right.
But then they tell you got to sit with the pain, and I don't want to sit with the pain anymore. I want a massage.
How long you been doing stuff like this, breathing exercises, meditation?
I went on my first retreat, and I mean I've been on and off yoga, a little bit of meditation, like right in college, but it was just like I'd meditate once every 6 months and feel really great. And then go, like, why don't I keep meditating? But I wouldn't. And then in '08, I did a 5-day retreat, and more and more silence. No writing, no phones, no journaling, no calling mommy. And at the end, there was like a 36-hour period of silence. And it was just like, my mind had just calmed down so much. It was like total, like, in the moment experiences. And I was blown away.
What led to that in college? Because in college, that's the wild party time. You was an athlete. What made you?
Oh, I was partying in college.
Okay.
We didn't miss that.
Yeah.
I did a yoga class, and
A girl probably led you there.
I have no comment on that. Did a yoga class, and at the end you do the class for an hour, and then you do the savasana, like the final pose where you lay there. And I just remember laying there, just like energy pouring through my body. I felt like I was off the ground, like levitating. I wasn't, but it just felt so light. And I said, there's something to this. And then Phil Jackson was into it. I mean, how old are you? You're
41.
Yeah, so you're my age. I mean, I was a Cavs fan, but everyone was a Michael Jordan fan.
Yeah.
And so
Master.
I became a Phil Jackson fan, and then I was reading his books, and he was talking about Zen and meditation, and so it was like normal. It seemed like he had normalized it. And then I just kept going, on and off. But then in '08, after the retreat, and then after the retreat, I went up to John Kabat-Zinn, and I was like, who led the retreat, I was like, we got to get this in our schools. Like, what are we doing? We got to teach our vets, like all the vets were coming back. We got to get this in the healthcare system. And he's like, calm down. He's like, there's a lot going on. I'd love to introduce you. So he introduced me to people doing it in the military, vets, education, healthcare. And then I met all these people, and that's when I wrote the book. I was like, I got to write a book about this.
Wow.
And my staff didn't really want me to write a book about meditation, as you could imagine.
Why?
It's politics. Like, I thought it was risky.
I always wonder why people don't think politicians are human beings who deal with the same stresses and everything else that
Right.
regular private citizens deal with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, we're supposed to be just this plastic thing. And so I did it anyway. And it's been great. I mean, that's how I met these guys, because I heard about them and the work they were doing. I was like, this is perfect, because my thing was I don't want a bunch of rich white people doing yoga. It's like it needs to help everybody. So then I met the Baltimore boys.
Yeah, I mean, he came to West Baltimore, north of Pulaski, and like showed up in a suit, came down, jumped on the mat with the kids, breathing, meditation, yoga, like it was nothing.
I was going to ask you, we've had all these mass shootings, and President Trump said it's a mental health issue. And I have to admit, for once, he might be right. Like, I don't think that's the only, cause of, the gun problem, but I think it's a part of it. Like, what do you think about that?
Well, there's mental illness in other countries. They just can't access weapons. So that's like one issue. But yeah, I mean, the trauma that these kids are under is significant and should be acknowledged. The way he talks about it is to get you away from the issue of getting access to the weapons.
Yeah.
And he is proposing kicking 20 million people off of their health care, which includes mental health coverage. So it's pretty disingenuous. But the point that you're making is true. 90% of the kids who do school shootings come from the school. And about 75% of those kids felt bullied, shamed, traumatized, isolated in some way. And that's why when I talk about social and emotional learning in the schools, it's like the ultimate prevention, because it helps connect kids to each other, helps them regulate, helps them deal with conflict. But having a mental health counselor in the school, which is my proposal, critically important.
So if you were president, that's the kind of legislation you would implement?
Yeah, we did our education plan a couple weeks ago. Mental health counselor in every school, art therapy, music therapy, play therapy, social and emotional learning in every school, and then the food piece. School gardens in every school. Eventually, I'd like to have kitchens in every school so you can actually teach the kids how to prepare it. Salad bars in every school. Really try to refine the food that the kids are eating, because we're seeing a lot of studies now on your gut microbiome and its effect on depression and mental health issues is coming from all the processed food we're eating, and stress and adverse childhood experiences. It messes up your gut, and they're finding that is affecting your mental health. So get them good food, have the counselors teach them social and emotional health, well-being, and then what you find is the test scores go up.
Yeah.
When you take care of the kids,
Yeah,
the brain starts working.
absolutely.
You know, and I think that's a good segue for Eddie in your breathing in your app. And I loved how you presented it last week about talking about the different regions of the brain.
Sure.
Yeah, if you could.
First of all, your educational plan sounds amazing.
Thanks.
You need to win. So I'm just going to piggyback off what Atman and Ali were talking about the nervous system, particularly the vagus nerve. So the vagus nerve is one of the oldest nerve bundles of our nervous system. It's been developing in us for about 320 million years. So it's super old, and it's the part of our system that perceives threat so that we can navigate through our lives and stay alive. So in part, we have survived for such a long time as a species. Of course, humans haven't been around for 320 million years, but we have survived as long as we did because we can perceive threat, move away from it, protect ourselves when we need to.
Is that the fight or flight thing?
That's fight or flight.
Gotcha.
Now, the problem is when fight or flight gets overstimulated. And when it gets overstimulated, we start to perceive everything around us as a threat, even when that thing is not threatening. So when Atman said, I was walking down the hall and you see a kid punch someone in the mouth, why did you do that? He doesn't know. It's because without thinking about it, he perceived that kid as a threat. And to protect himself, he punched him. And we do that all through the day. Like an email might come and it's from a boss or someone we've had a conflict with, and we think, oh man, what's going to be in this email?
That's PTSD, anxiety, yeah.
And that's everybody in this country. You know, it's like everyone gets wound up about emails and alerts on the phone and all that stuff. So we all need to learn how to take a pause. Another thing about the vagus nerve, which is really important to this conversation, is that the vagus nerve comes down from the brainstem, it goes through the larynx, where a voice box is, down into the heart, lungs, diaphragm, and then below to internal organs. So it connects from the heart, where we feel emotions, to our throat, where we have vocal tone, and then it connects to nuclei at the corners of the mouth, the eyes, where we express emotion, facial expression, and then to the ears, where we can hear how people's vocal tone is changing when they want to express emotion. So when the vagus nerve is toned, then we have this pro-social interaction where I can listen to you because I'm receptive, and I can express myself because I'm calm. But then when that vagus nerve is not toned, then I can't listen because I can't hear change in your vocal tone, and I can't articulate my feelings or thoughts. So the toning of this nerve is really important for pro-social interaction, the ability to listen to each other, to hear what people are saying, and also that we begin to co-regulate each other based on the tone of our vagus nerve. That if I'm calm and listening to you, even if you're angry, you're going to calm down. And if I'm really upset and you're listening to me and you're really calm, I'm automatically going to calm down too. So some people, we have to take the initiative to be the calm ones to help the inflammation go down. Okay, so I'm going to do this. We'll do this for 4 minutes. I'm going to play these sounds on this app. You're going to inhale with one sound and exhale with the other. And I'll guide you through it a little bit also. You guys all know Moby, the recording artist Moby?
You look like him.
Yeah, he looks like me. He made these sounds for me. Okay, so here we go. Just listen for a moment and don't do anything quite yet. Okay, so this next sound here is going to be an inhale. this one's an exhale. And if you want to do the little hissing breath or ocean breath that Atman was talking about, you can. Mainly try to make your breathing smooth with the sound. There's no pause in between breaths, which sometimes is a little weird in the beginning. Just go with it, let your nervous system adjust. And the breath can go anywhere, in your belly, in your ribs, wherever it naturally goes. If you can let the belly begin to drop a little on the inhale, that's a good thing. It's already 2 minutes past. Breath aligning smoothly with the sound. We're in our last minute now, which means only 5 more breaths. Our last breath. Then relax your breathing. And then 3 closing check-in questions. Asking yourself, who am I? Having a sense or feeling of who you are at your core. And then asking, what is my purpose, or what am I doing here in my life on this planet? And then, what do I do next? How can I actualize my purpose out into the world? How can I use my purpose as service? long inhale and a relaxed exhale. And then, as Atman and Ali said, when you're ready, you can blink your eyes open. Never heard that blink your eyes open before. I really like it.
I'm on Sunday school.
It's good.
Yeah.
Those 3 questions at the end. Those are from my 9th grade teacher, Mrs. Jane Benditson. It's the only thing I remember from high school.
I could only answer 2 of them in the moment.
Yeah, you don't have to have an answer, really. You can just ask yourself the question, and then if an answer comes up, then one comes up. And if one doesn't, it's okay.
Yeah, I knew the answer to the first one. I mean, because I just always feel like we're spiritual beings living a human existence. So when you say that, when you said, what are you? I say God.
Yeah, beautiful.
And then the last one, when you said, what is your purpose? Immediately it's service to others.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's my purpose.
Beautiful.
What about you? You feel like your purpose is service to others?
1,000%. And specifically, like, getting this out into the world.
I remember after one of the debates you tweeted, I'm going to read it, you said there was no conversation about our children, our kindergarten education. How can we talk about the future without talking about transforming our education system? We need to focus less on test scores and more on healing our kids' trauma and their social, emotional well-being. Why was that so important after the debate? Like, why did you feel like you wanted to tweet that? Out of everything you could have talked about, why that?
It was so apparent that it was missing from the discussion, and it still is. I mean, we went through 2 rounds of debates, 4 nights, 8 hours, lots of tweet. When no one's talking about the kids.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just not. It shows, I think, how calculated the politics have become because they don't vote.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
college kids vote, so everyone's talking about college, free college, and whatever the plan is for college kids, but no one's talking about the kids, which is why when I say things like what we talk about, people come up to me and say, "You're the only one talking about it."
Mm-hmm.
You know,
And it seems like nobody's talking about anything internal at all. Everything's all external. Like you can control a lot of external circumstances, but what about people and what we're feeling on the inside?
yeah.
How do you get to the root of that?
Start talking about it, and highlighting what you do, what I do, what these guys do. Highlight the people that are talking about it. Like, give them the platform to continue to promote it.
You say you want to put therapy in schools. When did you first start going to therapy?
I've never been.
You've never been to therapy?
No.
Wow. Why not?
I don't know.
Really?
I find that my meditation is kind of where I think through my shit,
Mm-hmm.
you know, by myself, and go deep, and you see where your mind's going and what your insecurities are and what your anxieties are, where your conflict is. That's what keeps coming up all the time. And the insight, one of the names, Vipassana meditation that I do, is called insight meditation.
Mm-hmm.
So part of it is about holding these ideas, these thoughts that you're having, and then kind of, this is the way I see it, like you penetrate them, like where's this coming from? And when you shut all the noise off and you just look at it, like normally, and I do this too, it's like you have one of those thoughts, you're like, okay, let me see if someone texted me.
Mm-hmm.
Let me turn on TV. You know, let me turn the radio on. Let me listen to music. But when you're practicing insight meditation, you're sitting with it and there's nowhere to go. And you just kind of figure out where it's coming from. And
You got to deal with your shit, basically.
yeah, you got to deal with your shit. And then you come away from that opened up,
Mm-hmm.
refreshed, you know, and like that in my Catholicism, that's the dying and the rising, right? Death to that old way, new insight. You know, which is why religion isn't working today, because you're not teaching people how to use it like that. You know, that's the death and resurrection that's important.
Yeah, you see people using it as a political tool.
Right.
To pass bullshit legislation.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Right. So, yeah. So
Did you mean right? Like that's what they're doing on the right? Or just like...
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
They've turned it into a political weapon.
I like what you said about not going to therapy, because I go to therapy, but that's because that's what I was taught to do to get a handle on my mental health. But
Yeah.
you were taught something different,
Right.
which is the meditation aspect.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people who go to therapy, and it's very, very helpful. You know, it's just something that I never did.
What made you start just wanting to get into the whole investing in your mental health aspect of everything? Like, what was it? Like, what was it in particular? Was it anxiety, depression?
Yeah, I was starting to get stressed out. I saw it as my job. My job was creating a lot of stress in my life, and that was kind of the opening. But then you realize the stress going back to being a kid. You know, your parents get divorced, and you have these experiences that you grow up in, and little things that kids remember that, you know, traumatized you. I mean, I think that's why it's important. And one of the reasons why I'm so focused on the schools, it's like, because one of the first thoughts I had when I was doing the retreat was, why didn't somebody teach me this when I was a fucking kid?
Yeah.
I'm 35 years old, you know, and so part of my mission is like, how do we get it into these schools where these kids can have a tool as they're dealing with the trauma? You know, you can't pull them out of a tough school, you can't pull them out of a tough neighborhood, but can you give them the tools to be able to negotiate the worlds that they're living in?
Were you ever scared to be vulnerable? Because you're a big guy. You know, you played sports. Like, you know, guys like you are supposed to be tough, supposed to be able to handle whatever the world can throw your way.
Yeah.
Were you ever afraid to be vulnerable?
Sure, of course. Yeah, for the longest time. Then I got married.
And then you had no choice.
I had no choice.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where relationships are, real relationships. We have a real relationship with someone that's not just on the surface, or we're going to cover stuff up. My wife is very much like, we're going to talk about this. And so that was part of that was like the next step for me, is like, okay, I think I got my shit together myself, but how do you handle this stuff in relationships? And then I watch her, you know, dealing with the kids, and how these kids tell her everything. Almost everything.
Almost everything. That's why I think it's so important for you to stay in these presidential debates, because nobody else is even remotely talking about this. I think I might have heard Mayor Pete mention it like once in passing. Like, this is your thing.
Yeah.
Do you feel like this is your sole purpose to be in these debates?
This is our thing. Yeah. The trauma piece. Yeah, because it affects healthcare, it affects education, it affects the economy. You know, the whole other piece is agriculture and food. Like, it's a traumatic system that's affecting our health too. So it all feeds into the same thing, but we've got to get to the root cause. And I think if we're going to transform the country and pop out of this, I keep saying it's not left or right, it's new and better. And we got to get in the newer and better.
You sent me an article once. It was from the American Academy of Pediatrics, and it was about racism being harmful to a child's health. So, I mean, we're seeing a lot of that right now.
So,
how do we reduce that?
Vote for me for president.
Listen, if you could kill racism, everybody in this room would vote for you in a heartbeat.
Well, it starts at the top. What kind of mood, what kind of tone are you setting? But again, I mean, I hate getting, but it's the social and emotional approach in our schools. I'll give you a quick story what they do in the early grades. There's a book called Stella Luna. Have you ever heard of this book? So it's a bird and a bat. I can't remember all the details, but it's a bird and a bat, and one of them gets mixed up with the other crew, and the bird thinks it's a bat. And then one day looks in the pond and recognizes that, you know, it's a bird. And so the kids had to read this book, and then they did that Venn diagram where you have like the center, the two circles overlapping each other. And the kids had to put what they're like what the birds were like, what the bats were like, and what they had together, what they had in common, separate and in common. And then they had to look at each other like me and you are looking right now. These are kids, 3rd grade. And you had to say, I'd have to say Shar has black eyes, you know, dark skin, and, you know, whatever, you know.
Don't be afraid to compliment me.
Hair on. Handsome.
If you think I'm handsome, fine.
And then you would say something about me. And then we'd have to say, what do we have in common? And I saw this little black girl and this little white girl look at each other like that. And the white girl's looking at the black girl. They're standing like this. and she says, we both have eyes, we both have chins, and then she paused in this long pause, and she couldn't think of the third thing, and she said, and we're both human beings.
Shit. Wow.
And I said, holy shit. That's how you begin to end racism
Yeah, you need those kind of exercises early.
in the class.
Yeah, because you never know what kids are being taught at home.
Right.
So it's a lot
Maybe
of
even taught something different.
yeah, a lot of racism is learned behavior.
Mhm.
So when you're teaching them the opposite, you know,
Right.
you see results.
So just intentionally, like if we know it's a problem and we know it's causing division in the country, you forget the president, but it's out there anyway, how do we intentionally try to solve these problems? And that means leaders need to develop and implement programs that will start dealing with that stuff.
Is it possible to take real time for self-care when you're a senator, when you're running for president like you are?
It takes work. Like
Yeah.
you really, again, intentionally have to do it. So I intentionally do my meditation, but I, don't always get my hot yoga. I love doing hot yoga, and I like working out, but don't always get to do it.
Yeah, I told you I was, texting with Cardi B one day, and we were talking about all the different presidential candidates. She was like, "Yo, I like Tim Ryan. I just feel like there's not enough attention on him. Like he don't have that, marketing machine."
Right.
Do you feel that way?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like we got the message. I feel like I'm from the right part of the country, from Ohio. Could win those Michigan, Wisconsin, Ohio, Pennsylvania. I love the agenda around transformational education, transformational healthcare, food as medicine, teaching new ways of doing agriculture that actually sequesters carbon and can help us reverse climate change, dealing with racism intentionally through our schools. Like I feel like I have by far the best agenda, most transformational agenda, but I'm not a senator. I didn't go to an Ivy League school and have like a huge Ivy League network that can raise you $10 million out of the gate. And I'm not from a big city. I'm from Youngstown, Ohio. But because I'm from Youngstown, I've explored all of these things to try to help my community. So the last 17 years I've been in Congress, I've been learning about social and emotional learning, learning about regenerative agriculture, learning about food as medicine, really trying to develop real solutions. And we have them now in the agenda. And if we get the platform and we get a little bit of money, we'll be off and running with a really exciting campaign.
I saw two longtime Biden supporters, Fletcher Smith, Brandon Brown.
Yeah.
They both defected from Biden.
Yeah,
Said they rolling
yeah.
with you.
Yeah, in South Carolina.
Yeah, in South Carolina. That's where I'm from.
Super, super excited about it.
How'd that make you feel?
Great. It made me feel like the message is connecting.
Yeah.
And I love Joe Biden, and I just think him. People perceive us as kind of being similar, Rust Belty, Irish guys who have like a connection to working class people, white, black, brown, and
You got less racism in your past than Joe Biden.
that's true.
Joe said a few things that I'm like, hey, why did Barack pick you to be VP again?
Yeah, that's not me.
Yeah.
But to have these guys come on board, I think was a real signal that we can connect in the African American community, and I think that's what people are looking for. Who can put the coalition together, the Obama coalition of African Americans, Latinos, white working class. I can do it. Now that's how that made me feel.
How big a role do you think your astrological sign plays into your personality? Because I'm a Cancer, you a Cancer,
You
right?
Cancer?
Yeah, I'm a Cancer.
What are you?
June
What's your
29th.
June 29th?
Yep, you're what?
That's
July
my exact
16th.
birthday.
June 29th.
You're 29th?
Wow. Cancer gang. Wow.
I feel like it does.
Yeah, we feel everything.
Yeah.
And I, what are you?
Sagittarius.
My wife's a Sagittarius. What are you?
December 21st.
Taurus. Like I've read once that it being that we feel everything, it causes Cancer to be depressed and have anxiety more than other signs. You believe that?
Not sure.
Mhm.
Not sure. I know we're sensitive,
Yes.
even though we got a shell around us.
Absolutely. We feel everything.
Yeah.
Definitely.
I feel like you and Marianne Williamson will connect on a lot of issues as well.
She says some really important things.
Mm-hmm.
She
She's a
said-
Cancer too, by the way.
Is she?
Absolutely.
Yeah, she says some really important things. Again, I think I have the agenda to deal with, like she talks about trauma and talks about food, and I'm thrilled that she's talking about it.
Well, listen, man, Tim, I just, I just wanted to talk to you for a quick second, let people know what your agenda is.
Yeah, appreciate it.
I want you in the next debate. How do we make that happen? I don't.
So we need 130,000 low-dollar donations.
Okay.
So it could be any amount of money. It could be $5, $10, $100. They all count. And if we get that number and hit 2% in 4 polls, then we'll be on the debate stage.
Basically, you need $1 from 130,000 people.
Yeah,
Different people.
yeah.
All right. How do
Yeah.
we make? What's the website?
TimRyanForAmerica.com. Go to TimRyanForAmerica.com and you can get your credit card out. You do PayPal, any of that stuff.
Yeah, I just think these conversations are so important because I truly believe that unless we start dealing with the trauma that
Yeah.
exists within so many of us, you're just going to have a bunch of people that keep redistributing that pain
Yeah.
to other people. And we're never going to get to a place of healing in America. And
That's
we
it.
damn sure going to need it after this guy leaves the White House.
Yeah, totally.
Word.
And this is the agenda, man.
Tim, appreciate you, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank y'all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So we just did breathing with Charlamagne.
That's it. That was great.
Yeah.
I loved it. I feel good for the day.